Hello parents and students, welcome to lesson 9, part of unit 4, so lesson 4.9, classwork review. Last couple of days we've been decomposing numbers. Now today we're going to be composing numbers. So instead of breaking numbers apart, we're going to be putting them together, okay? So we're going to look at a couple questions. We're going to be looking at about 4 questions today. 4 or 5 questions. So we're going to be, instead of taking them apart, we're going to be putting them together. So in the first one, if we take a look at our vertical columns, we have 2 of them boxed out in red. So we're going to be dividing by that 2, okay? Now, in essence, 2. What we want is our finished product to be 2, okay? So that's where some students got caught up. They saw those red boxes and they thought we were dividing by 2. We actually want that to be a total of 2 there. So when we're looking at this first one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 smaller boxes, and 2 of them are shaded. That's that 2 over 4. That's where that 2 over 4 came from. Now we want to divide. Before we were multiplying to make smaller units. Now we're going to be dividing to make our units larger. Okay? So when we divide, we're going to be dividing by the number of rows that we have. 1, 2. So we're dividing by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we have a total of, now we look at our columns, we had 1 here, and that's shaded in, out of a total of 2 columns. So 1 over 2. Okay. So if we take a look at B, we start with our smaller boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total boxes. And now the 6 total boxes, 3 are shaded in, so 3 over 6. So 3 over 6, we're going to be setting equal to 3 over 6, and we're going to divide 3 and 6 by a number. What number exactly? Well, it depends on how many rows we have. So let's count our rows. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to divide it by 3. Okay, so we're going to divide it by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is equal to 1, and 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2. Now to double check our work, how many columns are there? There are 1, 2. How many of those columns are shaded in? 1. So 3 over 6 is equivalent to 1 over 2. Okay, so that's all we're doing. So each of these problems is going to be equal to 1/2, but each one represents a different equivalent form of 1/2. So D was, if we look, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total boxes. So that's 5 over 10. And this is equal to 1 over 2. Now you can see that in this picture because you can see we have two columns and one of them shaded in. But how many rows do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And of those 5 rows, when we take 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 1 over 2. So let's take a look down here at E and F. Part number 2. It says, what happened to the size of the fractional units when you compose the fractions? So when we compose, we're making it larger. We're putting them together. So compose, okay? Compose means we're putting them together. Putting together. And when we're putting them together, we take 2 small pieces of pizza, and when we put them together, you make a larger piece of pizza. So our fractional units are getting larger. They're getting bigger in size, okay? So if you take 2 very small pieces of pizza and put them together, you're going to have a bigger piece of pizza than before. Even though you have 2 smaller ones and there's still the same amount of pizza, the pizza slice is larger. So what's happening to what's happened to total number? They're getting smaller. We're getting smaller units. So imagine if you have a pizza that's cut into eighths, and you have a pizza that's cut into fourths. Our pieces of pizza, our slices of pizza are getting larger, but there are less pieces of pizza to hand out. So our total number of units is getting smaller when you compose them. You're adding them together. Okay, so it's like essentially saying, okay, we're going to erase that part of our pizza, and that's going to be a larger slice. Now, in all else, that, yes, it is a larger slice, but that larger slice, okay, this larger slice is still the same size and still the same amount of pizza as two slices put together. Okay, so the slices are getting larger, but there's going to be less of them. And that is our lesson for today. So that's lesson 4.9, or unit 4, lesson 9. Hopefully this helps understand composing fractions a little bit more. So it's the opposite of what we were doing before. We were breaking it down and decomposing. Now we're putting them together and composing them. So decomposing uses multiplication, and now composing uses division. So once again, hopefully this helps bring some clarity to our equivalent fractions. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.